Who wants to give us the recap of last session? Because we were bouncing all over the place.
Very cinematic.
It was very cinematic.
Oh, dog.
Tia and Kana met up with Zavik, who is somebody who works on Shaiska's ship, which is a difficult thing to say, Shaiska's ship. Anyway, they hung out.
When you know the actual name of it.
They hung out for a bit and discussed matters, and during the discussion, realized that Kane had told Iffy about the situation as it were. Then they called Kane, and Kane hung up, and then Kane and Kana had a conversation about the situation, and the party remained split for a bit. Zavik had a place to crash for T and Kana, so that's where they went after purchasing some hair dye. Kane and Kana spoke. Iffy went shopping, purchased some items for herself that are not at all concerning. A GPS locator, a bodysuit, and a cascader. And then I believe we went back to Kane being like, wait, where the shit is Iffy? And trying to figure out where she was. Then there was the stuff at the room where Kana had a really cool force vision that was also extremely homosexual. And as part of this force vision, she saw Tia getting shot in the chest. She then fell off the bed. Tia came to go investigate as to what was wrong. They spoke for a bit, and Kana lied in Tia's face, directly to her face, which initiates another party split, which I'm sure makes Z very happy. Where Iffy is still alone, but now Tia's with Zavik, and they're on the trail of an alleged cantina with a shop nearby. And Kana is going to go meet up with Kane to go actually pursue the leads that she got from her vision. I believe that's everything.
And Vilexa is the only one staying on mission.
Quietly sips some coffee, goes back to work. The one person in the group that did not want to do this.
Vilexa did discuss with Kane some options, none of which Kane particularly liked on how to handle the situation. But as Kane left to go find Iffy once he realized Iffy was gone, Vilexa kind of hunkered down a little bit in the booth that she is now alone in, and is getting to work on trying to figure out how to track this shipment. So, we will start there with Vilexa. You are right in the middle of the fountain, with the pretty lounge singer still singing on the stage. The crowd has kind of swelled a little bit. There's a few more people around than there were when you first came in. Seems to be getting, on an asteroid like this, there's not really a time cycle. But at least it seems like perhaps a shift change or something is starting to happen for some places as more and more people are kind of moving into the places for relaxation and entertainment. And you are hunched over your data pad. What exactly are you trying to do?
If I had to say, I would be looking for perhaps some logs, maybe, like of where the ship we were hunting for, like maybe where they landed, maybe where their people went, would be a good place to start.
Okay.
I deadass thought you meant like wooden logs for a second. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like so fucking lost for a good 5 seconds. For real.
Get me the axe, we going in.
So you're trying to find logs for incoming ships first and foremost, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So, I will say you know that it is not wholly impossible to try and hack from a distance like this. However, it is much easier to try and hack essentially from a terminal that is more directly attached to what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so would Vialexa just try knowing that there's a bigger chance of like not getting it immediately here, or would she want to make her first attempt much easier?
Right now, there's no threat of me getting caught, so I'm willing to take some extra time for this. If it fails, then she would have to go on site.
Okay. So, let me see here. Pull this up. This program. So, as you are kind of starting to peruse the networks that is on Skip One, you have been here before a few times. You've kind of probably poked around once or twice, I'm assuming, out of curiosity, if nothing else. Um, it is not like trying to hack into like a super tight Coruscant, Republic database that is ultra high security. However, as you would expect from others in your line of work or adjacent to your line of work, where the security tends to lack in all out defense, makes up for in sneaky little tricks and traps. So, you kind of know where you want to start from. Uh, Trying to get into the more or less the main data frame for Skip One. In order to try and get there, it's probably the easiest to get into initially. Once you start diving deeper, will get progressively harder. Um, I'll need a computer's roll at 2 purple and 1 black.
I I have a remove black for computing for breaking encryptions and codes and stuff.
All right, then 2 purple.
Yay. Two purple. Just a purple. That looks good.
So you start to try and break into this main database, kind of piggybacking off of the network that the fountain is providing and diving deeper. You break through relatively easily. However, you notice once you get into this main network, you kind of start poking around where you assume fuck, why did my brain just go blank? English disappeared. What
Mm-hmm.
is the word I need? The main ports.
Position?
The main
Server.
ports. Port.
Oh, okay.
The main ports database would be. You realize it's looks like there's been some beefing up of security there. So you start kind of poking around. A roll me an underworld knowledge really fast at 2 purple.
Okay.
Yeah,
Duh.
you notice that there's a couple of codes that kind of flash in front of your eyes that you've not seen before. Um, at least not here. They looks like perhaps there's a hacker of some sort or a security expert of some sort that has been brought in by whoever is now in control of Skip One. And unsurprisingly, they have beefed up the port's security first. as the only place that you can easily get some information on the comings and goings of ships that are uh, coming to skip one, even if it is not a whole lot of information. So as you are you going to try and continue forward where you are currently towards the ports network, or would you like to do a different approach, or
I guess I should get on site. It'd be easier. Yeah, I'll head to the port itself.
okay. So you kind of pack up your things, realizing that there's a little bit more security. Well, perhaps just a little bit of curiosity, even. Who has been doing this? What exactly is going on from last time you were here? You make your way out of the fountain and kind of pause and scan around the crowds outside, and none of your team is anywhere in sight. They have all seemingly just disappeared into the depths of the asteroid. You head across the catwalk back through the security checkpoint. As much of a security checkpoint as you could call it. Towards the port. You would know from being here a few times that you could link up to the network itself, um, from various kind of uh, God, I needed to drink a cup of coffee before this.
Oh no.
My brain is melting out of my ear.
Do you want to go just grab a cup before we get into it? Get into it?
No, because then I'm not going to go to sleep. I have to wake up early.
Ah,
That's why I did not do it before. Um,
ah.
you know that you can plug into the network from a few different locations, kind of where a few of the major um, parking spots, landing bays. There we go. Uh, landing bays are. You also know that the uh, actual people that are kind of observing the port, keeping an eye on it, they do have a couple of offices a level or two up, staring out over one of these smaller landing bay areas where usually the more profitable ships end up landing, the ones with people that they want to make extra sure nobody messes with, usually because they are big in one group or another.
Okay.
Where do you want to go?
I'll go up into those offices.
Alright. So you exit out of the twisting tunnel that links the main cavern to the ports, to the various landing bays, and you start kind of making your way up the twisting, turning stairs and ladders that lead from one landing bay to the next to the next. As you move up, you see most of the landing bays are now full. Um, and you do still see a handful of the ships that the group kind of wandered around and spotted as potentials. Um, Ones that could possibly be the ship that you guys are after. And as you get up 2, 3 landing bay levels higher, as the cavern that the landing bays are in starts to kind of narrow and arch closer and closer towards the ceiling, the actual landing pads themselves shrink in size. You see smaller and smaller ships. And unsurprisingly, as the ships get smaller and smaller, most of them start to seem a little bit more well off, a little bit fancier, and also several of them a little bit heavier armed. And unsurprisingly to you, as you see these nicer and nicer ships, you also see more security. Security might be a generous term, but security kind of idling around. Just trying to make sure that nothing too funny happens. And you eventually get to where you can see the windows of this office, looking out down upon a set of about 4 or 5 smaller ships. Ships that are designed for maybe 4 or 5 passengers maximum. And you can see that there is movement behind the windows. Though you can't see exactly who it is or what it is from your location. You see, kind of leaning against one of the tunnels that you know would probably lead towards a doorway into the office, is just a, like, kind of lightly armed, quote unquote, security. In all reality, just hired muscle. Who is kind of not really paying as much attention as he probably should be. Just kind of messing around on his data pad, you assume with some sort of game. Just relaxing there.
So, besides the security people, are people wearing like uniforms or anything like that?
Not really, because there is no, like, one official group that has, like, owns Skip One. It's just whoever's in control at any given time. Um,
Makes sense, yeah.
so this is just the hired muscle is clear because they are more uncomfortably outfitted because of the body armors and weapons that they carry than just your average person just hanging around Skip One until their ship gets fueled. Um, but aside from that, there's no guaranteed way of, like, identifying who is a Skip One worker, quote unquote.
Are there any computers in this office that I'm in?
You are not currently in an office. You're in the landing bay.
Oh, right. Sorry. I wanted to go up there.
Yeah.
Like,
What I am saying is that in
yeah,
order to get up there, you have to get past the security guard, down the tunnel, and through a door.
yeah. The one that looks lazy, right?
Yes.
This is a bit stupid, but I kind of just want to walk past him. Just give a good morning, as she does.
If you act like you belong,
Yeah,
people will
exactly.
think you belong.
Exactly. That is exactly my logic.
If you had a clipboard, the disguise would be complete.
Oh, I need a clipboard. I need a clipboard.
Mhm. A
So
clipboard and confidence can get you in a lot of fucking places.
you're heading past this dude. This dude. Okay, let me see what this guy has.
Clipboard in one hand, coffee in the other.
I'm gonna need a deception roll from you, opposed by them. He's not great at this.
If I go and get a cup of coffee, will I get a bonus?
No. You gotta capitalize while the getting's good. He's really distracted to the game.
You know,
By
you're
the
right.
time
Dan,
you
you're
get
right.
with the coffee, he's gonna be done with the game.
Fuck, you're right.
Let me see here. Versus this. Yeah, so deception. It's 2 purple.
So I have 2 green on my deception.
50-50 shot. Let's go.
We're rolling the 50-50.
It's pretty good. It's as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Blair.
Barely eked it out. So, as you kind of just walk by this dude, you see him kind of like look up from his game, kind of glancing at your direction and back down, and then there's a furrow of the brow, and he looks up again, and he's watching you as you walk by. And you get past him, he's still kind of staring at you. And he's, uh, uh, good. Hi. You have his attention, however, he has not stopped you.
And I just give him warning and just walk past.
You go down the hall, you can still feel him kind of staring, and you reach the doorway. It's just, dozen feet or so into the hall. That you would assume by its position is how you circle up the stairs towards the windows, towards the office. And it is currently closed and does not open when you get in front of it.
Hmm.
You do see the control panel for the door beside it.
Time to hack? Question mark.
You can
Can I?
you can try hacking, you can try mechanics. Um,
What's
describe
my
to me
highest?
how you like which one you're trying to do first, and then how you're doing it as you feel this guy kind of still watching you.
Um. So she like puts like one of her. I don't know what data spike. I think that's what it's called, or is it a skip? I don't know the terminology, unfortunately.
It is Mike.
But basically, with my back to them, I sort of like attach it to the keypad and like make it look like I'm pressing buttons on the keypad while I'm trying to like quickly hack into it.
Okay. This. So that allows you to reduce the difficulty of a computer's check by two,
Okay.
technically. So, let's see. Hey, ignore that. I was clicking the wrong thing.
I roll my destiny now.
So you did a little downgrade twice for this. Let me see, where is it? This is a 3 purple and 1 black check on computers, and a another deception roll, another 2 purple, but I will give you a blue for succeeding the first round.
Okay. And I have the code breaking thing to remove that black, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is that with the downgraded difficulty thing?
Yes. So you can just not
Okay.
put the black in, and then you
Okay.
downgrade twice.
Downgrade. Okay, so then I click downgrade twice. I don't know if
I think that's going to be how it
that
works.
didn't change anything on the rolling thing.
It changes it after the roll.
Does it? Okay. I don't think it did.
Just roll it with 1 purple.
Uh, okay. I'll do. Okay. My apologies for the confusion.
We don't know how all of the nuances of the Foundry work, so you're fine.
I dead ass thought it would remove it after the roll.
Okay.
Whoop.
Cool. So easier, and then also your deception,
Deception.
2 purple and 1 blue.
Okay. Deception. purple and a blue. Damn it.
So, you're sitting there kind of like starting to mess with your data pad, have the data spike plugged in, trying to get into this store. It is child's play, the lock level. Um, for somebody that is aware of hacking and able to do basic slicing, it is more an inconvenience than it is a challenge to get through. As you're standing there, putting in the last little bit of the code you need to get this door open, you hear this guy at the end of the hall shift and move a little bit. He's kind of turned in your direction. The data pad has lowered. He is no longer messing with the game. He has not started towards you. He's still kind of half leaning against the wall, but rather than like his back towards you looking over the shoulder, he is with his back against the wall fully. And you see the creases in his brow deepen a little bit. I don't think I've seen you around before.
Well, you don't really see much. You're playing your. What were you playing? Is that the newest version or the old version? Either way, really should be focusing more. I started like last week.
He frowns a little bit. And what exactly are you doing?
I am a security consultant.
There's a brow that goes up, and just a little look of like incredulousness and also amusement. Security consultant. What the hell they hired
Mm-hmm.
a security consultant for?
Because before me and a couple others got to hear it, their security was, well, to use a slightly foul language, it was dog shit. Literally anybody could just squeak on by. Okay,
Bantha Poodoo.
Bantapudu, exactly. Especially the data security, like people could just get in here and hack whatever they want. It only just recently got revamped, and you wouldn't believe how easy it is to just steal your data. Companies could just take your data.
And that's why this stream was sponsored by NordVPN.
I was about to. I was trying to control myself.
He's kind of like, as you go into this rant, there is a head tilt of curiosity and interest for about 2 seconds before you see his eyes start to kind of glaze over of like, I don't know what this means anymore. And what, you're on the rounds for the port now?
I'm just doing a routine data check. We got some big names coming in. They do not want any tracers on us, if you know what I mean.
I will give you the option here.
Okay.
He is going to, like you say, big names. You have entered into sharing the T mode with this guard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I will give you the option of rolling another deception or an underworld knowledge
Okay.
to try and bluff your way into something that is interesting and big enough that he is more concerned about the tea than this weird woman.
I will happily take Underworld for this.
Okay. It is going to be another 2 purple.
Okay. Are there any objections to using a light side point to this from the crowd? Because I have 3 green right now, so
We only have 3 light side, and I feel like we're going to need them later on.
I do not mind not doing it. Okay.
So
I think-
question about
Yes.
light side points. We can use them to upgrade a check before the roll, but you can't do anything with them for a re-roll, right?
Right.
Generally, yes. Unless I'm
Okay.
being very generous.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I was like, if there is a re-roll, that might be a time to save it, but in this case, for a second I thought we had four light, 3 dark, but we have fewer.
Okay.
We also,
So,
well, like this is
yes.
kind of important to the mission, though. You know.
I get that, but I feel like we only have 3, and we have a lot of high stakes stuff coming up too. So, I mean, if you guys want to, by all means, but that's just my thoughts on it.
Since we seem to be having a split opinion here, just the easy thing is to vote yes or no, use it. Amy, yes or no?
Fuck. I was quiet for a reason.
Yep, that's the curse of you
Here, I
counting.
will vote. I will vote yes, because I think I'm okay with high stakes situations having only the 2 left. I think we'll be able to scoot by. I'm a gambling man, so I will vote use it yes.
Okay, we have Joe, yes. Kira, I'm assuming no.
That's correct.
Amy?
I mean, I say no just because I'm nervous.
Iris?
I say yes because we can always get more.
Cody, you're the tiebreaker.
Cody.
Well, anyone who knows my philosophy on story points, use them or lose them. So I say
Okay.
yes.
Tis
Okay.
voted.
There's now more than enough players that I don't have to make decisions. Okay. So that'll be upgrading your die.
All right.
Success is
Okay.
advantage. Okay.
Nice.
So, what type of tea are you spilling for this man?
I'm gonna drop some like big name, like some guy with the Pike Syndicate's coming here, like some upper up is gonna get here, you know? Yeah, sprinkle in a little truth to it, but mostly just give some big names that are coming and like, yeah, so we need this like super hush hush.
You get this man to kind of lean in a little bit more, and he goes from his back against the wall to now he is leaning against the other shoulder back towards the landing pad. Just kind of listening to you and nodding a little bit. You're saying that they're going to be coming here soon?
Yeah, or at least that's what I was told. They could also be lighting a fire under my ass to make sure I do my job, but I'd rather be safe than sorry when it comes to, that guy.
Huh. It's the first I've heard. Oh, that's actually really good to know. And you see him like kind of look down, and he starts typing on his data pad. You assume he is immediately starting to spread the tea. But he is now distracted.
Okay, now's my chance. I go in.
So the door slides open. You see a little kind of stairwell that kind of turns away from the door, goes up a couple of feet. You see the opening towards the office, but you don't see the office proper. Are you just like walking in boldface, or are you trying to get a lay of the land first?
If it's safe for me to get a lay of the land without looking suspicious, I will. If not, then I gotta go in.
Well, you can try to get some stealth in first.
I'll try to get some stealth in.
Let me see here. This will be Also 2 purple and a black for a stealth on the stairs.
Okay.
Oh,
So you are kind of peeking over the stairway. You have just enough of a chance to see that there's 2 people inside currently. A fairly large human, or very close to human figure who's sitting down, kind of leaning over the console, staring out the window. He seems to actually be working on something pretty concentrated on what he's doing. And behind him, kind of spinning in a chair, looking both annoyed and bored. See a younger Twi'lek man who's got this almost purple hue to his blue skin. And as he is spinning, you see a headset on. He's the one that clocks you as you're kind of peeking over the floor into this office. And it is not super big. It's about 15, maybe 20 feet long. But only really wide enough for there to be a console on the back wall and a console in front of the windows looking out over the port, over the landing bay. And have just enough space for there to be a chair back to back facing each console. So it's essentially just long and skinny, with the human kind of positioned facing the port about halfway down the room and the Twi'lek at the far end.
Okay.
And you feel him lock eyes with you, and he stops spinning. He kind of like half gets up, not fully out of his chair, but is leaning a little bit, like almost like he's about to get up. And who are you?
Yeah, so the guard just let me through. I'm here to make sure security's uptight for the upcoming Pike Syndicate landing. And she just kind of whispers it and like beckons him closer to whisper it to him.
As he speaks and your voice starts to ring out, the human's head kind of lifts, looking at you. And as he turns in your direction, you see he is well past middle age, more gray than black in his hair, with an unpleasant amount of scarring on one side of his face, down his neck. And he kind of leans back in his chair. You hear it squeak a little bit. His brows furrow. Hike Syndicate? Who? Why exactly would you be checking our security for the Pike Syndicate?
Because that they're worried that some Jedi have investigated investigated. What's the word I'm looking for?
Infiltrated?
Infiltrated. Thank you. They're worried that some Jedi have infiltrated the asteroid, and I'm here to make sure that they haven't.
And the human kind of frowns, and you see him turn to look at the Twi'lek, and the Twi'lek is now kind of up on his feet. Have you proceeded up the stairs?
Yeah. I'll walk in.
And as the two men kind of look at each other, the Twi'lek just kind of like open arm gesture, like kind of shrug. The first I've heard about any of it. And the human looks back towards you. He's not getting up, but he has stopped whatever he was doing beforehand.
Well, check your messages. It should be going around the guard chat right about now.
And he frowns look at each other again, and the Twi'lek pulls out a data pad and starts typing away very quickly, pulling up something, looking at something. And the human kind of levers himself out of his chair, gets up. He is a little shorter than you, Alexa, and is very much built, kind of like you would think a farmer would be almost. A little bit heavier set, a little bit broader in the shoulders, probably strong but not fast. And he kind of takes a step or two closer to you, kind of looking you up and down. What exactly would you know about security of Skip 1?
I'm a data security specialist.
I'll give you one more choice here between deception
Okay.
and cool.
Deception and cool. I will take cool, please.
Okay, so you're being kind of studied by this man. You'll make a cool check at 3 purple.
It's a flip of the coin again. Let's go. I win these every time.
Woo!
Ooh, don't say that. And as he's kind of looking you up and down, you can see he is trying to like go through a mental Rolodex essentially of like, have I seen you somewhere before? Do I know about you? Why are you coming here? Trying to
Mhm.
place you. You managed to keep your head, you know, chin up, not deterred by him. And he is he studies you long enough that you see the Twi'lek kind of pause what he's doing, blink a few times, step forward, hold out his datapad to the human. Man just kind of looks at it, skims it over, and frowns. Uh-huh. Just a security check, you say?
That's right. To be more precise, since I don't know how much into data security you are, I'm going to be checking to make sure there's no traces or any signs of Jedi influence in the system. That could be malicious programming or, viruses attached to certain, points of data, that sort of thing. Trying my best to sound like an actual technological person. RP, and it's an actual technological person.
Man, I know that feeling. The human just there's a single nod, and he takes a step back. Kind of, you see him go over to the terminal, and he starts inputting some sort of data. You're not sure what. You see just kind of flashing across the screens a few things that pop up and then disappear really quickly. You're assuming he is probably, perhaps not hiding things, but securing a few things. And he finally, after a moment, gestures towards one of the other chairs for you to sit down. And turns back towards the Twi'lek. I have a few questions. Why don't you, go get Boss Man? Let the lady work in the meantime. The Twi'lek kind of like frowns, but there's a slow nod, and he starts to walk around you to leave the office.
Yeah, I let him go.
So the Twi'lek goes downstairs, and you're allowed to settle in front of one of the terminals and start working, though the human sits beside you, not hovering over you, not overly close,
Hmm.
but directly beside you to continue his
Okay.
own work.
Hmm. Makes sense.
So, just to make it clear,
Hmm.
you have not been caught per se,
Hmm.
but there is a timer that has been initiated.
Yeah. If possible, could I like whisper in the comms, or would that be too dangerous?
That would be
Is there
very,
a
very risky, but I can't say you can't try.
text
Or
message?
perhaps, yeah, I was about to say. I
An
think would
instant
Kane be?
message.
Yeah, yeah. Would Kane be the most receptive, or would Kana?
Well, that's a matter of opinion, I think.
Okay, I will. I will put my faith in you, Kane, and send you a message.
Well,
I don't
that's
know,
useful.
man. He hangs up on calls.
Can't hang up on a text, Amy.
Leave on
He can
red.
get rid of the notification and not read it, is what he'll do.
True.
Leaves on red.
And swipe that off to my
Yep.
So wait,
notifications.
okay,
Puts
well,
his
I'll
phone on Do
message
Not
both
Disturb.
Kane and Kana then. I'll CC it. I'll CC it to both of them, and it'll be something like, "So I need you to do something really loud in Jedi, and then in bold now."
Does that go through? Is there
Oh,
anything
fuck.
that oh
Yeah, there's no way to really block that because nobody is like stopping that from going through. So I will say, um, are you as you're sending this message, are you immediately trying to dive in headlong into the system? Vilexa.
Yes, I have very little time.
Okay. So we will circle back around to Vilexa diving headlong into the system.
Okay.
Uh, but she has successfully infiltrated the office to try and get into the port logs. As we shift gaze towards an Iffy.
And iffy.
An Iffy. Iffy, you have just successfully purchased the exact thing that you were looking for. Little used, secondhand, but it should work. And a little something extra that you were not expecting, even though it is expensive. Tell me what Iffy does once she is out of line of sight of the shopkeeper.
Iffy, as we discussed, is trying to find some private place where she can change. And if she knows a place like that, I imagine she knows a cantina or something nearby where she can put some credits down on the bar for a drink and then use the bathroom and come back out.
100%. It
We're
is,
changing in a Starbucks bathroom here. This is a fucking classic.
yeah, it is not
hell yeah.
hard to find one of the smaller, slightly shadier cantinas. Um, one that is frequented more by those that remain on Skip One than those that just come and stop by. You're able to purchase a what what type of drink would Iffy want in this situation?
Right now, it's whiskey. Whiskey straight.
A strong Corellian whiskey that
Big bucks.
I assume she downs very quickly, like one gulp,
Oh, yeah.
before you scurry off towards the restroom in the back, which is clean-ish, old, maintained enough, but is a little questionable at moments. Not necessarily someplace that you would relish changing in, but not the worst.
Yeah, she's changed in worse places than this. It's better this than the desert on Abathar. She'll take this over the desert any day.
Fucking
But
Abathar.
she will sit there and stand really, change into the bodysuit, and then once she's done with the bodysuit, she'll walk over to the mirror and start programming the cascader.
Are you referencing any images or pictures for this cascader?
I feel like there's probably tons of pictures on her phone. On her datapad, I should say. Um, so yeah, I feel like she's pulling up a photo and she's going off that.
So, describe Iffy as she walks back out of the bathroom after a good 15-20 minutes.
It certainly takes some time, and I think that if he spends a little bit longer in the refresher than she would otherwise like to, just kind of psyching herself up. And she's already made this decision. She's going to see it through. The die has been cast, but there's a bit of comfort that she gets when she sees herself in the mirror now that she takes the time to try and appreciate knowing what's coming up ahead. Um, but when she walks out of the bathroom, it's a completely different person, albeit one of the same size and still a woman. But the woman who comes out of the refresher is a yellowish, kind of marigold colored Mary Allen, with very familiar facial tattoos, bright gray eyes, and even brighter pink hair. Iffy comes out looking exactly like Tia.
Do you, as you come out, you see a few confused glances your direction by those who are positioned close enough to know who goes in and out that door. They don't remember this Mary Ellen going into that stall, into that bathroom. But they come out and they are all smart enough to know that you don't ask questions unless you really want to get involved in things. So, though you feel the weight of a few gazes, you're not stopped as you walk out of the cantina with a very specific destination in mind, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Iffy has a very specific destination in mind. Kira is trying to figure out which one that would be. Um, so does she know the person in the Iffy server is on skip one, or does she not?
The person that I most recently sent you,
Yes.
uh, yeah, you know that that's like their home base.
Okay. Iffy is going to turn her phone on very briefly in order to make a call, because she does not want to waste any time. She needs to get this over with, done as quickly as possible. So she's placing a call to this person, someone she's worked with on Skip One before, and has good reason to trust both their skills and their discretion. But she does keep the call to voice only.
Okay, you call and it takes a few seconds before it connects through, and you hear just kind of the standard clanking and clacking and metal on metal and something that sounds surprisingly like a saw. And you just hear a very tired and hello.
Iffy. Actually, I don't think she bothers putting on her friendly voice. Uh, and as he picks up, she's like, "Rather that you?
Who the fuck else do you expect it to be?
I don't know. Phone numbers change all the time at this hunk junk."
And there's a moment of silence that you assume is Rotha actually checking the caller ID.
If he goes, mine doesn't.
Iphigenia. Where'd you get shot this time?
Nowhere yet, but that might change before the night's through. I mean, will change before the night's through. I'm gonna need a pickup.
And there's a beat where you can assume he is processing. And he turns where he is sitting and shouts for the room to get quiet behind him. And after the hubbub doesn't go quiet, but does significantly decrease. And what type of problem am I expecting for this pickup?
At least one gunshot wound, probably more, who knows? I guess it's really up to fate, but they're not gonna be in a good way. They're gonna be in a very bad way, as a matter of fact. So, we're gonna need to make it quick, and we're gonna need to make sure it's efficient, and just make sure we've got the good stuff on deck.
You got the money for the good stuff?
She openly scoffs. I always have the money.
And you just hear there's a slight lift in his tone that you know to be the kind of smirk, almost sneer that he gets whenever there is good money on the line. And he just kind of very calmly, surprisingly calm for this conversation. And whereabouts would this pickup be?
Does Iffy know any of the cantinas in Pike territory?
Yes. Let me. Pretty simple. So you do know that there is a cantina that has been 95% considered Pike base on Skip One. Occasionally they'll be kind of bumped out by a particularly ambitious group or another for a hot second, but they always get it back. And it is called the Thirsty Tuscan.
That's a good name. Iffy will note this down. I'm thinking it's a Thirsty Tuscan. Probably. How far is she from it? Like 20
Couple,
minutes?
yeah, a couple floors off, so you'll probably get there within 15-20 minutes. You assume for causing a scene a little bit longer?
Thirsty Tuscan, about half an hour, let's say.
There's just a long, low whistle. You're causing shit there? I don't really fucking want to know. That's your business. It's not gonna follow me here, is it?
Well, probably not. If you send somebody who can handle it under the table.
There's just a little click of his tongue. I'll figure it out. You just have the credits ready.
Will do.
And before the line goes dead, you just hear him, like what you assumed either the creak of a chair, calling back into the space behind him. Mindy, we got a live one. And then the click.
She takes a deep breath, looks at her data pad. I'm assuming she has like a ton of missed calls.
Oh yeah.
She's scrolling through them, visibly winces a little bit, but she doesn't slow down. She can't slow down. If she slows down, then she risks stopping and considering more what she's about to do, and she can't afford to do that. Uh, they can't afford to do that. Nobody here, part of the crew, can really quite afford this given the circumstances. It has to be her. And so she's dismissing each of these notifications slow, 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 slow. And then she pauses and she sends two timed messages set for 2 hours from now.
And to whom are these messages sent to?
One to Kane and one to Tia.
And then I'm assuming the phone is turned off again.
Yep, right back off.
So you kind of take a breath after turning the phone off again and stashing it away. You know that the Thirsty Tuscan is about two levels lower, one of the lowest levels of the main cavern. And as you kind of approach one of the stairways that spiral down between levels, you can just barely see a few people milling around on that level below. And you've wandered Skip 1 a little bit, not a lot. Because generally it's a place that you don't go to areas that you are not invited into. Not that you are not allowed there, not that anybody would necessarily do anything to you if you are not invited, but just more out of keep your nose out of places that you're not absolutely sure you want to get involved with. But you have walked by the Thirsty Tuscan before. It's a relatively small canteen, all things considered. One that is really meant to hold a handful of genuine clientele and a few private rooms, and then not much else. In fact, you're pretty sure that there's not even live entertainment there most of the time. It is more of a jukebox. But you do see that there's a little more movement down on that level below than you anticipated.
Despite the busyness of it, I think if he looks down, thinks to herself, well, okay, at least we'll have an audience. Audience is good. More eyes is good. And tries to assume her best brash, confident Tiatanala walk as she heads downstairs.
She heads into the depths of Skip 1. Not the lowest that she can go in the asteroid, but damn close to it. We will again shift views. Back upward to Tia, who has just been left by Kana.
Whew. Thank God.
With Zavik to finish washing out her hair. Now a jet black. It's been a very, very long time since Tia has seen herself with the more or less standard black Murialan hair. And Zavik just kind of like standing out in the middle of the room as you walk back out, hands on his hips, though you do see that his fingertips and nails have been stained black by the hair dye. He just kind of tilts his head a little bit. Well, you definitely look like the brat that we picked up.
Imagine Tia spent a lot of time fussing with her hair and getting it back, and she probably took a minute or two, kind of just staring at herself in the mirror as she put makeup on, because it has been a long time since black hair. Probably black hair was literally when her and Zavik met a decade ago. But she comes out, she puts a hat on, and this is what she looks like as she steps out of the bathroom, having put some makeup on to try and hide her tattoos from sight because those are very unique. And she kind of just gives a smile to Zavik. Of course I still am. Well, at least not anymore.
And he just kind of looks you up and down, shakes his head. Yeah, definitely still a brat. Now, as we're going places, you want to explain to me what's going on?
I think we already gave you an explanation of that.
Yeah. I'm not the smartest man in the world. I know that. But you've gotten yourself all types of worked up, ain't you?
Of course not. I'm very calm for the situation.
He just kind of leans forward a little bit so that he is more on eye level. He's very intently examining your face. Is she trying to legitimately lie to Zavik?
Yes.
Okay.
I will say that because it's Zavik and because of the situation and it's because they're alone and it's just her and Zavik right now, it's probably not as good as she could usually do.
So, let me see here.
Like I'll say
Roll
she's
me
at
a
like 70% capacity for lying right now.
deception versus 3 purple, 1 black.
Okie doke. Whoops. Hey, she kept her cool.
He can see a frown on his face, and he stands up, and there's a little bit of a stiffness to the movement. A little bit of discomfort. And he just crosses his arms. Well, that's the story you're sticking to. He just kind of gestures towards the door. Guess we better start walking then.
Now Tia feels guilty. Aw. Chloe picks up her shit, double checks her blasters. She's got both of them. You know, a little quick into the holsters. And as she follows towards the door, um, she'll kind of just look at him as they start walking. Right, and did Connie message you where we're going? She did say she's going to get more information, but I haven't gotten any.
There's enough of the description. I have a reasonable idea of which cantina it probably is. Well, one of two. One's up a few floors, one's down a few floors. Which direction do you want to go first?
Are you sure you already have an idea of it?
Oh, that that he just like stumbles over what he wants to say, and then he does the wiggle fingers for force.
Hmm.
Thing she does. She gave me a description of the shop and the cantina. Um, I have to say I have been on this rock more than enough times to know exactly which cantinas look like that.
Alright, what's the cantina? Which one is it?
Let me find it. It's not the fountain. Let me see. Well, it's either the quartz river up a few levels. Place that's usually got a couple of high rollers in it. Though the card tables there ain't as good as the ones in the actual card hall. Or the Hungry Hut. It's down a couple of levels. It tends to have a few more cartel members in there. But because it's got some people with some money in it, it's usually pretty nice.
Alright, so did either of them match the description a bit more than the other?
Not really. I mean, these are cantinas built into holes in the giant rock. Dear.
Right, but Connie mentioned it being next to a shop of some kind.
He looks at you, and then he gestures around the cavern. Essentially, they are all next to shops.
Hmm. Tia kind of puts a hand on her holster and kind of like fiddles with part of the blaster for a second. Right, it's not much to go off of.
Yeah, the colors of the signs and the general vibes that she says she saw. Well, again, those two are the best options.
Alright, but it's very important that we find her as soon as possible.
Since you're not making a decision, we're going up. He starts pointing y'all towards the direction of a stairwell leading up.
She'll follow. Walking side by side. Mm, probably takes a minute before she, I guess, I don't know, asks a question that she's kind of been like distracted from because she probably should have asked this earlier, but things have been happening. Zavik,
Hmm.
why exactly are you here? What work are you doing?
Oh, usual. Some big wig from Coruscant came out this direction for a meeting. some of the shadier contacts need a little bit of extra muscle to at least make sure the meeting doesn't go down, you know, the wrong side of things. Throw him back on his ship if all else fails. So, just waiting around for that to actually happen. Got a good few credits right on it, but all of them folks coming from Coruscant always have such itchy trigger fingers and oh, more paranoid than they need to be.
Okay. Pause 1 quick second. I'm getting a phone call at the worst time. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Bathroom break? Question mark.
Yeah. Well, you guys ain't being asked to do nothing, so you guys can have a bathroom break
Hmm.
whenever, because you guys continue to split the party.
Hey, we can't continue to split the party if we haven't been reunited and split again. We're just sustaining splitting the party.
Wow, I can't believe Kane died of natural causes. It's crazy.
I'm waiting to hear what the text message if he sent Kane was, because Kane's gonna get like 2 messages back to back. One that's like do extreme Jedi shit right now, and then one that says from Iffy, and it's like, hey, something incredibly dire, and a location or some shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not getting that iffy message for another 2 hours, buddy.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm back.
You good, Avery?
Yeah, Joe just called me at the worst time.
Sorry.
It's okay, it's okay. He was calling me to tell me goodnight because he's going to bed.
Not going
Yeah,
to
I'll catch
bed,
you
going
guys
to his
later. Good
shelf.
night.
Yeah, going to his shelf.
That is the most amusing thing that is universal to military on those vessels. It's just fucking. It's not bed. It's a shelf. So, uh, yes. So Zavik just told you he's been hired as some extra muscle for a big wig from Coruscant.
Ah, she nods. And when is this meeting happening? I don't want to distract you from your work.
Not until tomorrow, I think.
You think?
He says he thinks, realizes what he says, smirks, and then you see him pulling out a data pad and scrolling through some like essentially to like the clock app on it. Yeah, we got a good couple hours before it.
Zavik, if you have work to do, you have work to do.
And he looks towards her. You're not getting me to go fuck off that easily.
As much as I love your company and seeing you, I don't want you to jeopardize your job.
And if you just showed up somewhere and I was getting shot at by the pike, would you just fuck off?
Uh,
Take that silence as a no.
you have a point, but still.
But still, if Shiska ever finds out that I just turned around and walked away when I knew you were in trouble for a couple of hundred credits, but I could easily get on the next job with her. She will have my hide for her bed.
Probably also a new holster.
He just kind of like nods. So you see, I'm not going nowhere.
All right. So, I guess I just need to accept that I'm not doing this alone.
Hell, I'd figure you would accept that considering the fact you grew up on a crew. I mean, Shaska's got her issues, but she was always around when you were.
That's true. However, I don't want to drag others into my trouble. It seems to find me, no matter what.
Pretty sure that's just what happens when you have a crew.
And you can see why I don't exactly have a crew anymore.
Because you're too stubborn?
I prefer the term too roguish. I can't exactly stay in one place for too long.
And he kind of locks you in this hard look as you kind of get to the top of one set of stairs and leans down in front of your face. Tia, I'm a Lasat. My people just about invented stubborn in this galaxy. You're stubborn.
Feel like she raises up a hand. She just, I don't know, boops him with the finger. She's like, so we can blame it on you then, right? You taught me that?
And he like smirks and straightens up. Eh, I had to teach you something since you still can't throw a good punch.
I can throw a good punch, I'm just better at blasters.
And he starts walking away, and you just see like one hand go up in like the mocking, like talking gesture. He's better at blasters. All you always saying is you better at blaster. You and Shaska and Nas, ain't none of you ever figured out how to throw a decent punch. So that's better than blasters in most situations.
You taught me how to throw a decent punch. Are you saying that you're a bad teacher?
I'm saying you're a bad student.
I don't think I want your help anymore.
You didn't want it to begin with.
That's a detail. We don't have to focus on that.
Detail. Detail. Whatever happened to the girl that came through just riding on the truth?
A lot of things happened. Zavik, you were there. You know. We need
And
to focus on this.
he kind of tilts his head a little bit in your direction, not looking at you. I know, but I think you're getting dangerously close to the path of not just lying to others, Tia.
What do you mean?
You might be getting a little too good at lying that you're starting to believe it.
She doesn't say anything. And she kind of just reaches into a pocket and pulls out like a large washer that she kind of just like flips between her fingers like one would a coin.
You can feel the weight of his gaze as it turns towards you for a second. It's kind of observing you. is one thing to be worried about somebody else getting involved in your shit. But you, of all people, know can't go solo in this galaxy.
I am aware of that. But I can't exactly stay around people for long.
He just kind of arches a brow.
If I can't exactly share the truth with anyone that I haven't known for a decade,
Can't or won't.
it's more. Things are. I'm not sure.
And that's where I'm getting at. Won't means you still realize is you doing all of it and you sticking your own foot in the hole.
It's
Can't
not like.
means you don't see the hole in front of you anymore.
I'm aware that I lie a bit more than the average person.
There is a instant scoff.
Maybe a bit more than that. What's the alternative? The truth? It's easier just to lie. The
And
truth is
what
harder.
in the hell makes you think easier is anything what this galaxy is based on? What about anything in your life and the life of the people you know is easy?
It's not like I can. Can we just keep walking? This is off topic, and we need to focus on finding Iffy, and then getting back to the others so that we can finish the job and then get off of the rock.
And you can run away after that.
I'm not going to run up.
And
I
there's a
can't.
slow smile.
Look, I am aware I have habits that leave something to be desired, but I am trying my best. And I wouldn't really call it running away, it's just relocation.
So what makes you want to stick around this group when you wouldn't stick around any of the other groups?
Well, Connie's there.
Connie's a Jedi.
Right? Doesn't stop the fact that I'm close to her.
Doesn't stop the fact that she's gonna get reassigned one day.
I'm aware of that.
And there's something else.
Is there?
And there's just this like side eye that you get. When did you decide I was the one that was out to get you, that you needed to lie about everything to?
It's nothing personal. Things been established that lying is my default.
He just shakes his head. And as you go up another set of stairs, wrap around, he kind of slows. And you see in the distance the quartz river, about a quarter of the way around the circle that you are currently on. It is a little bit smaller than the fountain from what you can see on the outside. There's a couple of shops to either side of it um, that are on one side seemingly more clothing focused, on the other side more technology focused. And you can see the people that are going in and out of the Quartz River are in slightly nicer clothing than some of the others that you've seen on Skip 1. They're not in Coruscant fineries necessarily, but they also don't all look like smugglers and bounty hunters either. He just kind of gestures. Zavik lifts a finger, points out the cantina. That's stop number 1. Think she'd be shopping or gambling?
Gambling.
Well, that's fast. He doesn't question it as he leads you towards the cantina. And though Iffy is harder to pick out in her current getup as she is no longer wearing full white, you know Iffy well enough that you're able to kind of skim through the relatively calm crowd inside the Quartz River. And in particular, giving a good look over the handful of card tables that she's not there.
Alright. Probably takes the max of 3 seconds. Probably. Just skimming through is like, nope, nope, nope. No tall Hapen. Nope. Alright. And turns to Zavik. She's not here.
You sure she wouldn't be in any of the shops or nothing?
She might be.
He nods. Well, let's go stop at a couple of them beside either end, and then we'll head down if she's not at any of them. He starts moving towards the closest shop to the door to the Quartz River.
Hmm.
And as you follow him, we will again shift the camera towards a very distraught Miri Ellen in a pink Twi'lek who is just now catching up to him, several floors below. As you have continued to not find the person that you are looking for, Kane, is Kane keeping his shit together, or does he look outwardly distressed?
He's a little put together. He's more frustrated because he's like he hasn't heard anything, which is both good news and bad news. So he's kind of growing more frustrated, but he's not like increasing in panic.
And kind of using that connection you have to Kane makes it relatively straightforward to find him as you focus in on it. And as you're focusing in on it, you feel that frustration as you approach.
No luck, I assume.
None whatsoever.
How many places have you tried already?
At least 6, 7. I haven't stopped to count.
How many more others do you think there are?
He looks around and kind of shrugs. At this point, it could be any number of places. Could be somewhere that she had never gone before.
Why would she even do this? Like, kind of walking, talking.
Kane just sighs and shakes his head and goes, I don't know. It's probably part of some scheme, which I haven't been able to figure out why she wouldn't involve me in it.
Well, if the ambassador is anything like Tia, probably a very dumb. And she doesn't want to get people involved.
He scratches his chin. Possibly. It's hard to say. Our only recourse is to keep looking, I suppose. Or maybe we just continue on with the job and she'll catch up with us. But I'm not sure how to proceed without her. He looks a little concerned.
The mission is important, but it's more important to keep our group together, especially with all the recent revelations. Which, by the way, I figured you know what happened. I tried to use the force to find her.
Pause for a second. Iris, can you get a little closer to your mic?
Hello, is this better?
Yes.
Much better.
Thank you.
My bad. Um, uh, I tried to use the force to find her. I did not. But to make matters worse, I saw Tia get shot. I'm trying to keep her out of this as much as possible, because, as I said, if Tia and the ambassador are anything alike, they do something stupid.
Kane kind of furrows his brow. You saw Tia, the one from our ship, Tia Tonala, get shot?
Yes, the same one that has a bounty on her head.
Kane just kind of furrows his brow. Were you able to pass anything else out of this vision? Maybe a location?
It was a lot. It wasn't as straightforward as I would have hoped.
Kane nods. Right.
I saw Iffy in a dark hallway. That's about it. She was anxious,
Hmm.
and from what I can tell,
From what I can tell,
frightened.
frightened. Oh. Does Kane know what scares Iffy? Like, what would make Iffy frightened?
He probably would know that. They've been friends for quite some time. If he definitely likes to ride the waves of danger, so she doesn't necessarily get afraid by the same things that most people do. Um, I would probably like emotional contexts matter a lot to her. She, even though she likes to do risky things, she doesn't necessarily like pain all that much either. Could be another big thing there. she's also extremely terrified of, on existential levels, just not amounting to anything, but that doesn't seem like it would factor in for him here. But I would say that she really doesn't like extreme pain would probably be something there.
Kane is absolutely like perplexed at this. Like all of these puzzle pieces and everything are kind of just kind of floating around inside his head, and he's like, Kana, you can see him really struggling to try and piece together what could be the plan. And he's just not quite there, at least not yet. But he'll like scratch his head and say, right. Well, if you saw a vision of Tia getting shot, where is she?
I sent her on a wild goose chase with Zavik.
He kind of eyes go wide for a second. You sent her on a wild goose chase? Who's with? Wait. Kane knows Zavik, right?
Of
We
Zavik.
established that. Knows of Zavik. Right. He stops and goes, you sent her on a wild goose chase? Is that in the hopes of preventing her from getting attacked?
Yes.
If this works, she's going to be furious with you. But I will back you up. I understand your reasoning. Just wanted you to know that I'm on your side with this.
I appreciate it. But if it means she doesn't take a lethal wound, it's more than worth it.
He nods, and he just continues puzzling over where Iffy is. At what point does he? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Like.
And as you guys are continuing to move and look for Iffy, tell me how exactly are you looking for Iffy? Are you like going into every store, or are you just trying to scan and hope that she is walking on a catwalk somewhere?
At this point, Kane is walking on catwalks and skimming the entrances or skimming stores from the entranceway. Because like if he doesn't see her in the frontmost area, he's got other places to look.
Yeah, and Kana's probably taking like the other side of like whatever walkway they're on, kind of thing. Like they're kind of close, kind of looking on either side is how I imagine it, kind of thing.
You guys essentially managed to, in half the time that it was taking Kane for one level, scan a level, go down, get halfway through the next, and then you both simultaneously get a message from Alexa telling you that she needs you both to do some Jedi shit immediately.
You've got to be kidding me.
Kane just looks at it, and it looks at Kana, and then looks at the message. What does this mean? I have an idea, but I don't think it's what it should mean. But I'm not technically a Jedi.
Lucky you. How? I assume we have to make some, or I have to make some kind of distraction. Okay, where's the fuck?
Iris, pick a number, high or low.
Low.
Low? Alright. So Kane scratches his chin for a second, Does Kana have her lightsaber on her belt?
Yes, she does. What the fuck are you about to do?
Kane does not get messages from Via Alexa often. And Kane has a very strong history of working in like stressful situations where vague messages conveying big ideas are sent very quickly. So he's used to getting messages from Iffy of things in a vague, similar nature to like do Jedi shit, or like, hey, you know that thing, that, and it's meant to convey an entire course of action. And so, if that's the message from Via Alexa, Kane looks at it, and he is going to like he pauses for a beat and then realizes like, oh, I I think I know what this means. He'll see that she has her saber on her belt, and he is going to draw his saber and brandish it at her, but in a training stance, just
What are
in the middle of the walkway.
you? What are you doing?
Draw your saber. And he's going to very, very, like, training level speed swing at Kana.
She'll dodge, pull out her saber. Like, what the?
He like makes he's going to very emphatically gesture his head and gesture towards the communicator as if like the message doesn't fucking. He's not going to say anything, and he's just going to continue to move through like a very basic kata at fast enough speed that a novice would struggle, but someone who's trained it would be like, okay, I know this form. I it's here and then here and then here and then here, and he's going to do that to to Kana with the hope that she is able to block consistently and make it look like they are having a lightsaber fight in the middle of the fucking place.
She like for like 5 seconds has a look of like, what the fuck, but just goes with it and focuses a bit more and will quote unquote fight back, probably a bit faster than intended.
Perfect. One heaping order of Jedi shit coming up.
So you pull out your lightsaber, and it takes a few seconds, but suddenly there is a lightsaber duel happening in the middle of the cavern of Skip 1,
All according to
where
plan.
it is echoing up and down, because though it is loud and noisy with people talking and various strains of music coming from cantinas and stores and the sound of machines, the sound of a lightsaber hitting another lightsaber is distinct in the galaxy. It is not something that is easily replicated, and not something often heard. However, the first few connections of the lightsaber and sparks flying off, hissing onto the catwalk that you are on, people close to you shout and try to get away very quickly. A few even kind of stumbling and falling over themselves in their haste to get the fuck out of Dodge. But as you are causing this scene, you all know that it has very quickly become a scene as you feel the weight of eyes on you. From at first your level, and then above and below as people move to lean out and over railings and poke their heads out of stairwells and through doorways to try and catch a glimpse of where this noise is coming from. And it echoes in such a way that even far below, Iffy, you hear the lightsabers. And far above, Tia, you hear it as well as Zavik kind of perks up and immediately leans over the nearest railing as well.
DM, how high is the current level from the level immediately below it, catwalk to catwalk?
Oh, I know where this is going.
A good 30-ish feet.
Okay. Kane, Iris, pick a number, high or low.
Low.
Okay, so Kane, like, sachets over to the side, and he's doing this in fluid form as best he can to make it look both like threatening and natural. He dances over to the edge of the railing. He is going to and DM, feel free to stop me at any point. He's going to twirl the lightsaber, shred the guardrail on either side of the catwalk, and jump backwards onto the lower catwalk.
Oh my god.
Jedi shit. You say I got in direct order.
I wasn't aware how fucking dramatic Kane was. Jesus Christ.
He's Iffy's best friend for a reason.
Jesus Christ.
That's my boy right there.
One Jedi shit. I got you. I got you.
Just for the sake of you need to roll something and also see how well you manage to actually make this look fluid, I will need an athletics check
Okay.
at this is relatively easy for you, so it's going to be 2 purple.
Hey. Perfect.
You
Oh wait.
There we go.
go over the edge with relative grace and ease, landing on the catwalk below, looking back up. Kana, do you follow?
Excuse me while I look at my athletics real quick.
Oh my god.
No. That probably wouldn't be smart.
If you try to be flashy about it, you can try for your coordination instead.
It sounds like you have to be flashy about it, Kana.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna make a fool of myself, but I'm gonna try it. Fuck it.
Okay, coordination at 2 purple.
Be flashy.
Okay. Just double checking anything from Makashi while I start.
Makashi's not helping you here. I can tell you that for free.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm trying. Okay.
This is why Ataru is
Let's
the
go.
best.
Let's
So
go.
you jump after him, doing a nice little flip on the way down. Are you trusting in Kane to be particularly good with the lightsaber and attacking as you land?
Yes. She's putting a lot of faith in him, so she's just gonna go with it. Yeah. She wants to make it look real.
You know what? And if he can't block, that's on him. He should have studied more.
I wasn't gonna say it, but
What is your lightsaber skill?
it is 1 yellow, 2 green.
All right, 2 purple and a red, Joe. To your lightsaber skill.
2 purple and a red. Whew.
The clash of the sabers just rips through the entire cavern as Kana, perhaps taking a little bit of inspiration from the Ataru aficionados of her lineage, comes down in a headlong strike as she lands. Kane, you are just fast enough, just strong enough to be able to block and deflect, taking a couple steps back as Kana is able to right herself. And the shouting has started as people start to that are were on the floor below you are also running for their life, and there's more than a few that you realize have seen Jedi and are now not only just trying to run from you, but also, assumedly, run from Skip One. As you see a flood of people heading up stairwells and down stairwells and through that frontmost entrance from the cavern to the landing bay. And you see that there is a small handful of security that start to move, though more than a few of them are seemingly reluctant to. But there are people heading in your direction.
Scatter? Connor literally says that through their connection. Scatter?
Yep. You say scatter, Kane just looks and gives you a firm nod, and we'll just loop the lightsaber closed and start to bolt.
Yeah,
Same,
Connor will put her.
same directions
sorry.
or separate directions?
Separate, opposite directions. It's scatter.
5-way split, let's go!
You know, you didn't have to ask, Z. You could have railroaded us together, and you know what? I'd go with it. I'll roll with the punches, but you had to ask.
So, go
I was
ahead.
gonna
So many
say if we
lightsaber
could meet.
noises
I was gonna say if we could meet somewhere, essentially.
through the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scatter now. Meet at X coordinate
Yeah.
coordinates.
2 levels down.
Yeah.
2 levels down. Perfect.
Grab a new cloak while I'm at it.
I was thinking the same thing. Kane is going to lose his favorite poncho to this fucking scheme. Or not poncho, his shawl thing.
It's a poncho.
Oh.
Embrace the Cal Kestis. It's a poncho.
Poncho time.
It should be noted, by the way, Kana, that like during that whole thing, like right as Kane lit up the lightsaber and started clashing and going into that classic form, he looked so happy. It was the most like lackadaisical, contented, happy Kane. It's so weird to see in the situation that you're in, but like he was not really, really widely smiling, but there was just a little bit of a smirk that you would understand as like he's having a great time.
Funny you say that because I was imagining when she jumped down to attack, like at that moment where they clash, she had a small little smirk on her face before jumping back.
Let's fucking go.
Fucking.
It's like the old days, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're the
Iffy's
real
parent
drama
trapping
queens.
everyone. It's the perfect scheme.
So, as the Jedi scatter, trying to outrun the Skip One hired muscle that is starting in their direction, and both Iffy and Tia, almost as quickly as you heard this clashing of lightsabers, it disappears. By Alexa, back in
Hello.
the landing pad in the offices. You have just a few seconds to start into your hack. So I will need what are you going for first and foremost? Are you trying to hide what you're doing? Are you trying to distract and kind of look like you're doing what you said you were going to do? Or are you just diving headlong
Uh,
for data?
I'm going to make it look like I'm doing what I say I'm gonna do, and then like on a separate screen do the other thing.
Okay. So you start to
Got two tabs open.
you
Sorry.
start to mess with the security systems for the landing bay. That's a
Hmm.
relatively easy first waltz in. So give me a computer's roll at 2 purple initially.
Yes, ma'am. Computers at 2 purple, you said?
Yes. Right. You're able to pull up the basic information about the system that you're dealing with and the at least surface level security that have been put forward. And as you're doing that, you pull up that second tab and start trying to go do a deep dive into the actual raw data that is available. And that is going to be computers. I am going to flip a dark side here. 2 purple and a red.
Why would you do such a thing?
Hey. As you're moving it into this data, let me see what we have here. Give me a second. I am flipping through so many different sets of lists. That's what y'all do to me. I hate it.
Oh, it's what you do to me.
Uh,
I just want you to know, Piper, my mic is muted, but I did
Yes.
sing along, so you were not alone.
Okay, thank you.
so as you're pulling up the data, you have um fuck, English just disappeared again. I hate having to re-download my language every hour to hour and a half.
You really should get a
Sucks.
patch for that.
Like medication that I can't afford.
Oh no.
So, uh, you would number one, I will preface this. You would know that a place like this, though it has logs, the logs may not be 100% complete or 100% truthful across the board. Because, there's a lot of people that are tight-lipped about who, what, when, where, and why when they're asked questions. But as you pull up that tab, start going into the raw data of the most recent 12 hours or so. With 2 success and 1 threat, you can choose 2 things out of a list of 4. You can get
Okay.
you will know which landing bay each of these things are attached to, which landing pad. So you'll be able to like kind of narrow down by process of elimination, more or less, to the handful of ships that you guys managed to peg earlier. So there's about 4 or 5 ships that you guys all were like, okay, these are most likely candidates. So you guys did do good by doing that first. Um, and you can choose from 2 of the following: the names of the ships, the supposed cargo or purpose for their landing on skip 1, the most recent port that the ships were in, at least from what they could scrub from the data on these ships once they landed, or the number of crew and potentially the name of the captain.
Well, what do you guys think?
I would say number of crew and name of captain.
That's one
I
thing.
definitely think that one.
Yeah, number of crew, name of captain, and loading bay, I think, are the important things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you all know
Mm.
the landing pad numbers essentially. So it's
What was the first one again?
names, supposed cargo and purpose, the most recent port that they were at before Skip 1, and the crew and potentially the captain name.
Then I think it's most recent port and captain name, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know what port they were in previously? Where they came from?
I don't think so, but I think that's a more concrete piece of evidence we can use to track things down. And if we know where they were, then we can go there to further investigate.
Yeah, because we could.
Yeah,
The
that
thing
makes sense.
would be like
Yeah.
look up the port where they left and be like, hey, who was at this port?
Okay, I see.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're going with, Piper?
And yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's see here. So we have the number of crew and the potential captain names and the most recent ports. Let me pull up this list. So, because I don't have the name or the numbers of all of the landing pads, we're just going to make this easy for myself. It is going to be landing pads 1 through 5. That are the ones that you guys have targeted as potentials. Okay? So, landing pad 1 has a captain named Tanis Meln, Tannis Melne, and 2 additional crew. Landing pad 2 lists a total crew plus captain of 5 people with no captain name. Landing pad 3 has 5 crew and a captain, so a total of 6 people. Landing pad 4 has. Do I have the name on this one? Yes. The captain's name is Ayn Vida, Ayyyn, comma Vida, with 5 crew. And landing pad 5 has a total of 3 people, 1 captain, 2 crew. The most recent ports. Let me pull up the map. Double check myself as I am doing this. Again, why you gotta be like this? My internet is freaking out, not loading what I needed to load. There we go. So, the most recent ports for them is 1 On landing pad 1, you see Charos is the most recent port. Landing pad 2, they weren't able to scrub that data off. They're not sure where the most recent port was. A landing pad 3 has Kala, Colla. Landing pad 4 has Lantilles. And landing pad 5 has Ornamental.
Can I get spellings for those last two?
Ornamental, 2 words, O-R-D,
Mm-hmm.
and then M-A-N-T-E-L-L.
Mm-hmm.
And Lantilles is L-A-N-T-I-L-L-I-E-S.
Thank you.
And as you are collecting this data, and I'm assuming moving it over onto a little drive, not even bothering to fully read it, you hear and see an alarm start to go off. See, red light starts flashing on the console in front of you. And the human beside you kind of stands up really quick, and you see him starting to reach for a different screen and typing in something very quickly. And you see a very small video pop up on the corner of the screen that he's messing with. And you see 2 figures with lightsabers attacking each other in crummy CCTV.
Well, damn. I know I was asked to make sure to secure things before they arrive, but I didn't think they arrived this quickly. We got a beat on exactly where they are?
And you see the human kind of, assumingly scrolling through announcements and warnings that are going through Skip One's system. Looks like the main cavern, if I can. If this catwalk means anything. Definitely not in any of the tunnels.
All right. Well, at least there's nowhere they're nowhere important yet. You already sent us call up, or
A little bit better for us to lock down this landing base so they don't get off.
all right, you do that. I'm going to go report. And with that, she's already like halfway out the door.
And you hear him like making a
she's
noise.
she's not.
And
she's
as you dip, you see that the security dude that was out in the hallway, he is already gone. Assumedly to go chase down whatever the fuck is happening in the cavern.
I'm out later.
Where are you headed?
Bitch.
To I'm going back to the kids.
You're going back to the fountain.
Yep.
That's the last place they
I
saw me,
will-
so that's where they're gonna go.
Yeah, I'll send a text to Kane saying good work. Be at fountain.
Doesn't tell Kana. Good work.
Good work. Where'd you find another Jedi? First off, I'm not a Jedi.
I don't know. You did some Jedi shit, my dude. Are you sure?
She requested Jedi shit, and you provided the Jedi shit, so it sounds like a Jedi to me.
Yeah.
It looks like
the
a duck,
quacks
quacks like a duck. So, is there anything else that you would like to do with this information, or anything else you'd like to do on your way back to the fountain, or are you just heading to the fountain for drink and a chair?
Drink in a chair, please. I've done my work. I need the rest for the rest.
So you head back to the fountain. It is distinctly hard to move as you are walking because there is a good, not flood of people, but a good current of people that is moving from the cavern towards the landing bay, and you just instinctively know that a lot of them are trying to leave, and they are going to be running up against the closing landing bay. And there's going to be chaos. As Skip One locks down its hatches and starts refusing to let people leave.
Ooh.
People that are not used to hearing no. And even less used to accepting no. But you get to the fountain and it is actually more crowded than when you left. You assume with the locals that didn't feel comfortable or couldn't head back to their homes because it was in the direction of the fighting. They have just went into the closest establishment that they felt relatively safe in. And for a lot of people, that is the fountain. You see the bartender shouting with a raised voice, trying to speak over the excited and anxious murmurings back and forth of the crowd, trying to keep everybody relatively calm and orderly, and also refusing to give out free drinks, which a few patrons are demanding for the chaos. And you find your way to, I'm assuming you're heading towards a little more private seat, not in the middle of
Yeah.
things like before.
Yeah.
And we will shift from Vilexa to Iffy.
Oh wow, I hope Iffy doesn't do anything dumb.
As you head down
Hurricane soul leave his body in real time.
to the Thirsty Tuscan. Doesn't take you too long to get there. And as you hit the floor that the Thirsty Tuscan is on, and start walking around to the entrance, you feel a few more eyes on you than before. And you could swear there's once or twice whisperings back and forth. Though you can't 100% be sure if you, number one, did hear it, number two, if it was about you. But the paranoia is there and the senses are heightened enough that you're. At least you convince yourself that it is. And do you just walk directly into this cantina?
Oh yeah, I'm walking directly the fuck into this cantina scene.
Oh
So
my god.
you are walking into this cantina. Are you announcing yourself? Are you sitting at a table? Describe to me
Z,
how you are.
as you were talking, I had the dumbest possible idea, and I knew I had to do it.
Oh, okay.
Can we veto it?
If I have been unable to veto the bullshit that you guys have been talking to me about.
Okay, fine.
Okay. How dumb would it be to just fire off that shitty blaster as soon as she walks in? It'd be pretty dumb, right?
That's instant death.
That would be very dumb, but you know what type of dumb that is.
It
I
is
think
effective dumb, huh?
I think it's the right kind of dumb. All right. She walks in there. She walks in there, catches the eyes on her, meets all of the eyes on her, stares back in extremely steely fashion. This despite her heart going about a million miles a minute, both because this is extremely dumb and also because part of her thinks this is just a tiny part of her is like, this is kind of fun though. Small part. But she's like, okay, I've got to get this done. This is the quickest way. I've only got about 10 minutes to make this happen. There's already a fight going on. I have to take advantage of the situation. So she just walks in there, immediately pulls the shitty blaster, and fires 2 rounds into the ceiling.
Not even into anybody, into the ceiling.
Into the ceiling. Actually, wait, should she fire into somebody? Oof.
Permission to blast them.
DM permission to blast. Okay. Z, evens or odds?
Odds.
Okay, on odds, she will shoot someone.
I mean, if I may,
Yes.
if she misses, that's kind of gonna hurt her image, huh?
Okay,
gonna be like-
that's a fair point. Z,
Yes, I guess she never misses.
Z, if I shoot somebody, can I get the drop on them and hit here, or will I have to roll for it?
Are you asking the DM, hey, who's the easiest one to hit?
Yes.
I need a sure thing.
If you are not trying to just like target the biggest, baddest looking dude in here and you're just like, okay, whatever fucker is right beside the door, yes, you can just hit them without rolling anything. If you're trying to prove a point and like, I'm gonna shoot the biggest, baddest motherfucker, I will say you can get 1 round off, but you will have to roll for the second one.
Oof. Okay. I rolled a 17, which is odd. Yeah, so I guess if he's gonna walk up here and get that 1 round off on the biggest, baddest motherfucker.
Oh my god.
You walk into this kind of
Based.
shady, kind of dingy bar, and you see there's about a dozen people in there all together. And like you assumed, even though there's a stage, there's nobody on the stage. There's just a jukebox that is lit up right beside it. And you have just long enough to look around from the doorway, see a few people turn to look at you, and at least 2 people kind of have the recognition dawn on their face, and they start to get up and point as if they're about to start saying, hey, isn't that... And you see one man, not necessarily in the middle of the cantina, but at a full table, you assume playing either Pazak or maybe even one of the Hollow games. You're not completely sure because you don't really care. You just see a little emblem of the Pike Syndicate on a bandana wrapped around his arm. And without thinking much more than that, you fire and hit once. Go ahead and roll for your damage.
Oh, okay. All right. So you want me to roll?
Yeah, roll your weapon for your damage.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Fucking. It's light, ranged light.
Where the fuck is ranged light? There it is. That shows you how often I have to roll an attack, doesn't it? 2 purple? Or do you just want me to roll the
This first
positive
one,
dice?
just your positive dice.
Okay, 2 successes. I'll take that.
was a
It's
warning.
damage. It's damage 5, so that's 7.
Okay. 7 damage on him. There. Let's see if you like. Ask you to roll the damage because you might be able to like, if you want to fight this out, keep up her image. You
She's
might be
gonna
able to do some
try.
damage. That does go over the soak a little bit. I cannot math. There we go. And then a roll with the 2 purple as you fire a second round.
All right, roll with 2 purple as I fire the second round. This is great. I love this. Okay. Well, holy shit! She hit.
So is it? You know what? It's the fucking shooting lessons.
This is
gave
the
her.
first time she hit.
No, it's the clothing.
It's the clothing. It's the vibe.
You know whenever you're a kid and you wear shoes and the shoes make you faster?
Yeah.
No,
It's
so check this out.
you're wearing shooting people clothes.
Yeah.
It's
Have you
Dress
never
like a
heard the clothes
gunslinger.
make the
Get better at
the clothes
shooting.
make the girl?
Shoes make the woman.
You hit again. This guy, you see him kind of, by the force of the blaster, just kind of like pushed forward onto the table. And there is just a single beat of what the fuck that goes through this cantina before everybody starts moving at the same time. Some diving away from you, diving under tables. They don't want to be shot. They don't want to be shot at. They don't want to do the shooting. They're just trying to get the fuck away. Some others popping up and reaching for blasters, fumbling for weapons. You see the bartender just immediately turn and start walking towards the back room. And a couple of guys at this table with this man that you just shot, that you assume are either also Pike or are associated, if they are all sitting at the same table, seemingly friendly in this Pike territory cantina. A few of them get up and already have blasters drawn and start firing at you.
Oh boy.
Let me see here.
Could possibly go wrong.
What could possibly go wrong?
And just for the sake of it, what did I say? Oh. So this you will have 3 people firing at you and once this time.
It's
1,
not going wrong. It's all
2.
according to Keikaku.
Oh,
Keikakudori.
Keikaku.
You have,
Translators know what Keikaku means plan.
I'm assuming you have no means of defense.
I've got no defense. No defense die.
Okay. Okay, so that is 7, 8.
Okay. Z, what was the name of the bodysuit again? Because I forgot to write it down, but I know that's mitigating by 3 this time.
Deflector? Is it a deflector suit?
Something like that. I know it deflects the first hit by 3, the second hit by 2, and the third hit by 1.
Reflect body glove.
There we go. I was searching bodysuit. Okay. So her soak is treated as 3 for that one, so 7. That's 4 damage marked.
And this one will be the same roll again. It's going to be another fucking 8.
8 reduced by 2, so that's 10. That's shit. Not added. Not added. 8 reduced by 2. Fuck. 1 second. Okay. 8, 6. 6, so 10 total marked. I'm sorry. I'm dumb, okay? I'm sorry. I know it's basic math. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Numbers are hard sometimes.
I have 1 wound left, by the way.
This is why you're a writer.
And then this guy has this. That's gonna be real ouchy.
Oh boy.
Real ouchy. Um. So that's 11.
Ah!
Holy
Jesus!
shit!
Reduced by 1? That's... Oh, Christ.
Roll
That
me
puts it
critical
me.
injury.
Yep, is there a thing for that on here, or do I just roll 1d100?
Just roll 1d100. Actually, you know what? Don't
That's... don't.
don't bother. I just read the note on this weapon. You're crippled.
Oh.
Oh.
Is he a disruptor?
Yep.
Oh, God! A disruptor! Holy shit! Oh, man! Oh, if she's down. She's at 20 out of 12.
Oh.
Oh no.
Let's hope they don't double tap.
They
So-
wanted her
Right.
alive, right?
Well, that's until you come in and start shooting somebody in the back.
It's
They don't
It'll be
care
fine.
who you are. They're just like, somebody's shooting me, I'm gonna shoot them. They didn't even have time to process that it was Tia. Until now Tia is laying on the ground. Unconscious.
Oh.
boy, if this doesn't work, actual Tia is gonna fucking turn into a villain.
You know what? You're not exactly wrong.
I'm not exactly wrong.
And we see the iffy Tia get hit by multiple blaster shots, one of which hits straight in the chest. And she is blown out the door to land unconscious on the walkway outside of the Thirsty Tuscan. And you see the few of the patrons from the bar start kind of moving towards the doorway and like, what the fuck? People that were just meandering along outside scurried along in different directions, trying to get away from the sound of blaster fire. And one of the people that shot at this quote-unquote Tia comes outside, kind of kneels down, moving aside the hair out of the face, and kind of squints for a second. And then you see them pull up on their data pad Tia's bounty poster. And just they smile to themselves and turn to call back into the tavern. But all the drinks were on them, as they just got the payday. Right around that time, walking around this walkway, heading towards the Thirsty Tuscan, rather than away, are two figures. One is a relatively short, kind of stout individual, partially covered, I should say, in bits and pieces of white fur and a kind of grizzled expression, just frowning at the sight of a body already laid out. And beside him is a droid. Cody, would you like to describe your droid?
Yeah. So, did I already post a picture?
You did not.
Nope. Not
Nope.
for
Okay.
everybody.
Well, let me do that first. But essentially, she looks very much like a female programmed protocol droid in appearance, with some like silver and like a metallic pink parts, and her eyes are glowing like a faint blue color. She's about average height. Sorry, my computer's going really slow.
And the kind of shorter figure just kind of crosses his arms. Oh, would you bet that's her?
It appears so.
He kind of shakes his head a little bit and watches as this bounty hunter turns to head inside. Oh. Well, I can grab her and drag her a little ways. Don't suppose you can stand there for a minute and jabber at them, distract them so they don't shoot me?
She will proceed to try.
How do you try to distract this bounty hunter as you step into the doorway?
She's just gonna start like shouting random facts.
You have subscribed to random medical facts.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
Did you know there are 206 bones in the average adult human body?
It's
Roll
the best
me,
she's got, yo.
roll me a cool check at 2 purple.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
So you just very nervously start yelling into this cantina that has just been shot up for like 30 seconds. In the way of this bounty hunter, you just very faintly hear the grunt of your owner starting to drag this unconscious body away. But this bounty hunter is so confused. His friend just got shot. He just essentially killed the person that shot his friend, and now there is a malfunctioning droid in the doorway yelling at him about the bones in a human body. That there's just long enough of a moment where he is trying to process everything and convince himself that he is still in reality before he kind of roughly shoves you out of the way, Mindy, takes a step out, and there is no body outside. And with some very foul hutties, he starts looking, and some few of his other friends trickle out of the bar to help, seemingly not caring about you in the slightest, leaving you to take your time in following your owner back to the clinic to hopefully help a possibly dead woman. And that is where we're going to end it tonight.
DM, I have one question.
Yes,
What was the message that Kane was sent from Iffy?
Kira will make note of it, and you will find out next session.
Ah!
God fucking damn it.
It's not been 2 hours, motherfucker.
20 fucking